Hello everyone, welcome back to full stack web development course using React.js and Spring Boot. So guys, in the previous video we have built this register form and login form, and today we are gonna set up Redux for our application and integrate API for register and login. Okay, so now without wasting any time, let's get started. Let me go to my VS Code, and guys, first we need to install some dependencies. First we need to install Redux. So let me write here Redux. Then we need Redux thunk. So what is thunk? Thunk is a middleware we'll use in our application. Then we need React Redux. So React Redux used for connect React to Redux. Okay, this three library we need for Redux. So let me install it. Okay, and then guys, we need to okay, I guess there is a Redux thunk. Okay, Redux thunk is not installed because of spell miss. So let me install it again. npm I Redux thunk. Okay, Redux thunk. Now it will install Redux thunk as well. Okay, so all the dependencies are installed. Now we need to create one folder for Redux. So regarding Redux, all the files will keep inside this Redux folder. So Redux. Now here I need to create first store. So let's create our store. Okay, and const store equal to legacy create store. Okay, inside this we need to give two things. First is reducers, all the reducers, and second is middleware. So for reducer, let me define here our const reducers. Okay, so root, it's we'll give it name root reducer, root reducers equal to combined reducer. Okay, combined reducer come from Redux, and here we need to combine all the reducers. Now let me give here root reducer, and we need to apply middleware here. So thunk middleware, thunk will come from a Redux thunk, and we need to export this store as well. Export. Okay. Then guys, we need to wrap our whole application with this store, or maybe we need to provide this store to whole our application. So for this what we can do is we can go to index.jsx and wrap this application with provider. So provider comes from React Redux. I have told you that we'll use React Redux for connecting our React application to Redux. Okay, so we'll wrap this application with provider, and we need to import this provider as well. And inside this provider we need to give our store which we have created. Okay, so now this store which we have defined in Redux folder, so this store will be available to whole our application. Okay, we can access this store from any component within our applications. All right, so now let's start integrate our login API and register API. Okay, as we have defined and configure our store for our application. So now we can start to integrate the login API and register API. So for this we need to create one folder here. Okay, auth, and inside this auth folder we will keep all the files regarding authentication, like action.js, action type.js. Okay, so let me write here auth.action.js. okay, inside this file we'll write all the actions regarding authentication, and auth.action type. And in this file we'll define all the action type which we need for authentication and auth dot reducer. So here we'll define our auth reducer. Okay, so first let me define all the action type which we'll need for a register and login. So a const and variable name, here I need to give a login request equal to login. Okay, so this is a simple variable, guys, we need to define here, login request. And let me copy this now, paste it over here, and instead of request, now I will write here success. Okay, and here also I will write failure. Okay, and we need to export this three action type. Okay, so let me export it. Export. Okay, and we'll use these three in our reducer file and action file as well. Okay, that's why we need to export it. Now instead of login, I will write here a register. Okay, so this three action type is for login and this three action type is for register, as similar as login. Okay, so now what we need to do is write actions for our login method and register method. So let's do this quickly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is here first I will write login user, or maybe action भी लिख सकते हैं, login user action. Okay, and login data will take login data from here, and async here will take dispatch. Okay, this and this. Now I will use here try catch block, const data, because we are going to use here Axios, so that's why we need to take data like this. Okay, and of course guys, for using Axios we need to first install Axios. So let me install Axios, npm I Axios. Okay, await Axios dot post. So it's gonna be post method, guys, of course. Okay, and now here we need to give URL. So guys, we need let me configure our let me write one config file for API. So what I'm gonna do is let me write here config folder, and inside this I will write API dot okay, here we'll define our base URL. Okay, API base URL actually. So API base URL, and we need to define here our backend API inside this. Oh, let me first export this. We'll export it. Okay, API base URL. So which is our API base URL? So this is this localhost 5454, because our backend is running on localhost 5454. Let me refresh this and show you that. Okay, so guys, if you have still haven't started your backend, then start your backend and on your localhost, or maybe if you have a deployed, then you can use your deployed API as well. But we haven't still deploy our backend API. That's why we will use this localhost API. okay, localhost 5454. And once we deployed our backend on any cloud, that time we will replace this localhost URL with our deployed URL. Okay, and now let's go to action.js and let me now import this API based URL. Okay, and we need to give some endpoint auth and sign in. All right, here we need to give login data because it's a post method, that's why we need to give here body. Okay, so that is our body. Now let me check here if data.jwt, if we get jwt inside this data, then we need to store that jwt inside our local storage. Okay, so let me write here local storage dot set item and here jwt, and here we need to give data.jwt value. So I hope guys you must have a knowledge about local storage, what is local storage, and how we can use this local storage to store any values inside local storage and get any values from our local storage. Okay, then we need to write here login data dot navigate. Navigate will not work guys because currently we don't have implemented router things in our application, so that's why navigation will not work, but we will do this in later when we add the router in our application. And we need to give here login data dot data. We don't give directly login data. Okay, all right, so now let's do one thing. यहाँ पर we need to dispatch our action type. So actually type action type will be login success, and payload should be actually data dot jwt. Okay, and here we need to dispatch as well. So here we will give type a login request. Okay, because here login requests are made and we don't need to give payload inside the login request. So and if our login request is successful, then we need to dispatch login success, but if it's not successful and get any error, then we need to dispatch a login failure. Okay, so let's write here login failure. Okay, and inside payload we need to give here error. So error dot error ही दे देते. Okay, let's give it error. Now we need to let me console here console error. Okay, so that we it will easy for us to debug if we get any error. Okay, and we need to export this login user action. So export, and now let me copy this and let's write a method for register as well. So what I'm gonna do is instead of login I will write here register user action. Okay, and login data will keep like this. Then yeah, if we get any JWT error when login, when register, then we'll store that JWT inside our local storage. And one more thing guys we need to do is we need to change our URL endpoint. Okay, so auth will be same, but after that we need to define here sign up instead of sign in. sign up instead of sign in. Okay, that's all. Now one more thing, let me console here, console.log. if we successfully register, then we need to console here data. Okay, and here also we need to console if we successfully logged in, then login success, and let me give here data. Alright, so this our two methods are completed. Now let's write the reducer for our auth. So we'll define here auth reducer. Okay, const auth reducer equal to this function. Okay, we'll take your state, or maybe or you can write store as well. Okay, it's just a variable, whatever you can give it. So we need to give here initial state value. So we don't have initial state value. Let me define here initial state value. So initial state, and user will be null. Actually just define the JWT, don't define the user. Okay, JWT will be null, and here I need to give initial state. And one more thing I need is action. Okay, we'll use switch case here, guys. I hope you know about switch case syntax. Okay, action dot type, we'll take here action dot type, and here we need to give value. So login request, first login request. So if action dot type equal to login request, then what should happen? So let me return here. So return state login true. Sorry, not login, yeah, but loading. It should be loading. Loading. It should be loading. Okay, and error should be null. But what if we encounter case login success? So let's write it as well. Actually, login success. Then we need to return state, and we need to update JWT's value by action dot payload. Okay, whatever payload we'll get, that payload will store inside this JWT, and loading will be false here, and error will be null as well. Okay, so this payload is which payload? So let me show you that in our action. So as you can see, guys, we are sending payload here, and inside this payload we are sending our JWT, data.jwt. So that payload will receive here and store inside a JWT token. Okay, and let me remove this, and default we need to return store the state. Okay, and what if you are facing failure? Then we need to handle this failure case as well. So login failure. If we face a login failure, then we need to return state Here we need to give the loading false, then error we need to give action.payload. okay, whatever payload we'll get will store inside this error. So error should be by default null, loading should be by default false. okay, and yeah, I guess that's it for our login. Now we need to write for register. So guys, for successful register, upon successful register, will perform same tasks. That's why I'm giving here register success, and upon successful actually upon login failure, register failure, will perform same task as login failure. So that's why we need we can give here a register failure. okay, and same for register request. okay, all right, so that's it. Now let me export our reducer. okay guys, and whenever we create any new reducer, we need to register this reducer inside our store. So let me register here. We need to give first key name, so key will be auth, and we need to give here reducer name, so it's gonna be auth reducer. okay, so that's it. all right guys, now let's go to login form and register form. Here we need to actually call our action, login action and register action, using dispatch. okay, so firstly I need to define here dispatch equal to use dispatch. okay, using this dispatch we will call our login action. okay, so when we need to call our login action, when somebody click on handle submit. So let me dispatch our action here, and it should be login action. So login user action. okay, and inside it we need to give data. okay, and data will be users credential, so it will be values which will be received from here. okay, all right, now let's go to register as well. And same thing guys, we need to do is first let me copy this dispatch, control V, and let me import this use dispatch and login. So here we need register user action instead of login user action. Register. okay, and here also we need to give a data, and inside the state we need to give values. So let me check once in actions that is right or wrong. Yeah, data. okay, so now it will work fine. Let's go to our front end part, and let's register any user. okay, so let me write here first Ram Kapoor. Let me give here RAM1 because I guess RAM is already exist in our database when we have completed our backend, that time we have create user for testing purpose. Okay, that's why. Now let me give here a password, and RAM is mail. So when I click on register, let's see what happened. Handle submit, and okay, but why we didn't get console.log? Alt shift F, register, so it should be there. Now let's go to register and check handle submit, dispatch, use dispatch. Okay, and register user action. Weird, we didn't get any error, and we didn't get response as well. Oh, handle submit. Let's do one thing. Let me close this and close this as well, and start it again. Okay, so maybe that time it will working fine. All right, now let me open inspect and try once more to register our user. Ram, last name should be Kapoor, or email will be Ram1, password should be 12348, and gender will be male. When I click on register, you can see that, guys, we have successfully get the token. That means our register API is integrated successfully. You can see the message as well, register success. Okay, now let's do this for a login as well. So what I'm gonna do is I will go to authentication and I will comment it out and comment this register form. So when I go to, now let me log in. So Ram1 and password is 1234567 let's do this. Okay, so our login is also working fine. You can see login success here, login success message, and we'll get we have successfully get the token. All right, guys, so in this video we have successfully set up a Redux for our application and integrate API for login and register method. Okay, and in the next video we are gonna set up a route for our applications, okay, for paginations. So that's it for this video, guys. Let's meet in the next video.